say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets back there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the
Please be seated. I want to thank Randy Runyon and the Solid Brass, as well as our two singers, Cynthia Kirsch and Emily Powers. Please join me in an applause for them. Well, my name is Brad Gottfried, and I'm privileged to be the president of the College of Southern Maryland. And this is a very, very special time for us. Any time that we can celebrate the achievements of our students is a special time. And it's even, well, almost as good. It's warm in here, so I like that as well. This is the college's 10th winter commencement, and we're celebrating all kinds of milestones this year. You're special anytime, but in terms of the 10th commencement, that makes you even more special. We also have recently completed our celebration of our 50th anniversary, 50 years of serving Southern Maryland in a very, very positive way, and we celebrated quite a bit. Also, we have recently completed our first major Gives campaign. And when I first came to the college, we talked about starting it. The process had begun even before I came. We were going to raise $5 million, which I thought was a tremendous amount of money for a college that had never raised anything close to that. That was our goal. The campaign is winding up, and we're almost at $7.8 million. Isn't that wonderful? So where is that money going, you're probably wondering. Well, it's going towards scholarships for our students to ensure that every person in our communities can afford an education. It's going to new program development. It's going to equipment so that we have the best faculty and we have the best tools for them. I want to recognize, even though Mike Beshy is not here this evening, our campaign chair, for his hard work. He really pushed it. But especially someone who is here this evening, and I want to recognize Michelle Goodwin, our Vice President of Advancement, who really was the moving force in the success of this campaign. So, Michelle, where are you? There. Well, I always like to report on the demographics of our graduating class. And it's an interesting group. We have 344 students that are receiving degrees and certificates this evening, and they have very diverse backgrounds. In fact, every single one has a story to tell. Every single one has dreams and aspirations, and we care deeply about every single one of them. And that's why we rejoice. When we can help students achieve their goals, that's what we're all about. They're diverse also in their lifespan. The youngest graduate is 17 years old, and the oldest is 66. And you're never too old to get a college education. The average age of our graduating class actually is coming down through the years. It's 28 years old. And again, that's what makes community colleges special. We don't serve just older individuals, younger individuals. We serve everyone. We have a mission to serve everyone in this community. Most popular degrees, general studies, which makes sense because this is the most popular transfer degree. Business administration. Business is still going on out there, maybe not as robustly as it had been before. And another very popular program is nursing. And we have fantastic programs, but we're especially proud of our nursing program. 100% of the students in the most recent class passed their licensing exam on the first attempt. And that's amazing, amazing. You know, there are many reasons why I'm part of the community college sector. I started as a 17-year-old at a community college after graduation, so I understand and I believe in its mission. And one of the things that's so special about this college is that our graduates do not have to leave this community to get an education. They can stay right here. They can continue to work. They can continue to be part of the community. They can continue to enrich the community. And many of these students will continue their education. Some of them will remain here in Southern Maryland through our associations with institutions such as UMUC and Towson through the Waldorf Center. But many will go off to College Park, to Towson University, to Morgan State, where we have some fantastic articulation programs. And I think, personally, what makes our graduates so special is the lives that they lead. Most of them, virtually all of them, work, sometimes too many hours. So they're working, they've got families, they're enriching their communities, and they're doing well in the classroom. So they're juggling so many activities. And they know it's difficult. I was at the nurse pinning this afternoon, and a lot of the nurses were talking about getting their lives back because it is intense for our students. But there is the payoff. We know, they know, that an education makes the world of difference, not only in terms of the stature that you will attain, not only the positions that you will be able to secure, but also how you've changed. You become lifelong learners, and you look at the world very differently as a result of an education. So there are lots of sacrifices that I know you've made, but you've done the right thing. And I'm a little biased since I believe so fervently in education. And as I indicated, we take so much pride in you, in what you've accomplished. And as a community college, and I think what sets us apart is that we care about every individual. And if one of our students does not succeed, then we feel that we have failed. And for us to be successful, we want just about every one of our students to achieve their goals. And so you're going to be leaving us. Some of you may be back for additional degrees, but we hope that you'll always be part of the CSM family because we'll always be here for you. We'll always be supporting you in any way we can. So please join me in a round of applause for our 2009 winter graduates. I want to thank all of you for coming. You're all very special. You're all very special to our graduates. We have some other special guests that I do want to recognize. Many of them on stage, many more in the audience. And we'll start off with our commencement speaker. And you're going to hear a lot more about him and much from him, a very special person who believes so deeply in the College of Southern Maryland, and that's Admiral Stephen Eastberg. If I could ask each group to rise and stay standing until I say a few nice things about you. I'm going to introduce now our Board of Trustees. Jamie Raley from St. Mary's County is our board chairman. Other board members are MacArthur Jones from Calvert County, Joe Shannon from Charles County. Also from Charles County is Dorothea Smith, Mike Middleton, and Joe Slater from St. Mary's County, although SMECO is everywhere. And I really want to recognize our Board of Trustees. They put in so many hours in guiding the college, in keeping tuition low, in helping to ensure that we're achieving our mission. I want to personally thank them. I also want to thank our commissioners, and I want to recognize our commissioners. From Charles County, we have Commissioner President Wayne Cooper and Commissioner Vice President Dr. Edith Patterson. And from St. Mary's County, a graduate of the college, a very strong supporter, has told me since commissioner he has come to every single commencement, and that's Tom Mattingly. What can I say about commissioners? Not only do they fund us, and hopefully as they do, we try to keep tuition as reasonable as possible, but they also help us in terms of the direction that we should be taking in serving the community, and their wise counsel means so much to us. Well, running a college is not easy, especially a college this complex in 2 counties with an enrollment over 10,000 students. And overall, close to 23,000 people are taking classes in the credit and non-credit side. And so I have a lot of support in terms of our senior officers, and I'm going to quickly recognize them. Alan Kutz, who is our Vice President for Corporate and Community Training. Ruth Bettenhausen, who's our Vice President for Financial and Administrative Services. Bill Comey, our Vice President for Student and Instructional Support Services. Charlene Newkirk, the Vice President and Dean of the Prince Frederick Campus. F.J. Talley, Vice President and Dean of the Leonardtown Campus. You've already met Michelle Goodwin, our Vice President of Advancement. And our new Vice President and General Counsel, all the way from Connecticut. He thought it was going to be warmer down here. Craig Cottonald. And somewhere, I hope, in the audience is our newest Vice President of Academic Affairs. I don't know if she's here. Deborah Tervala. Is she here tonight? If not, hopefully she'll be here before too long. And I want to recognize our faculty and staff. Those of us in education and our graduates certainly know this. This is the heart and soul of any institution. And I can say, and I've been at many institutions, and I can say without any doubt that this is among the finest group of educators that I've ever had the privilege to work with. The care that they give to the students and the support that they provide to them is immeasurable, and I want to personally thank you for all that you do. We have some elected officials here, and I'm so pleased that they've joined us. The legislative session has begun. I don't know if they're running away from Annapolis or what. One of our own graduates, a very powerful figure in Annapolis, is Senator Mac Middleton. Mac? And someone who served with Mac for so many years, first in the Charles County Commissioner Board, and now in the House of Delegates, Murray Levy. Murray? We have wonderful partnerships with the school districts, and I'm very pleased that Bobby Wise is with us this evening from the Charles County School Board. Bobby? She is the vice chair, I should mention. Another elected official, also a very strong supporter of the college, is our sheriff in Charles County, Rex Coffey. We have John Hungerford from Indian Head, very strong supporter. Thank you, John. We're not in technically La Plata, but we really are part of La Plata. It means much to us, and I know we mean a lot to La Plata. And we have the mayor with us, Roy Hale. Roy? Now, the $8 million, or close to the $8 million that we raised, was not just because of Michelle. I don't want to give you the impression that she was manufacturing all this money. We have a foundation board, and this foundation board is very, very active in getting out and raising funds. And for instance, we received $1 million donation from the Caramonte family. And if you look at the building that you may have passed, our Science Technology building, it's named for him. And one of our foundation members really was instrumental in helping us to secure that award, and he's part of our foundation board, and that's Steve Proctor. Steve? And with him is his lovely wife, Diane. We also have the vice chairman of the foundation board, Greg Cockerham, also an alum of the college. And all the way down from St. Mary's County, Ray Wernicke, also very supportive on our board. Thank you. We also have a former president. I am only the 4th president in 50 years. It's amazing, isn't it? But the president, not right before me, but 2 removed, Dr. John Sine. And it's always great when Tim Hutchins comes to visit. Tim also is an alum of the college. You may know Tim. He's a former state delegate. He was also former superintendent of the state police. Tim, thank you so much for coming. And I hope I haven't missed anybody. Okay. Now, during these commencements, we usually ask representatives of the faculty and the student body to come and reflect on the moment. And so this evening we have Professor Ron Brown, who's the president of the Faculty Senate. He's going to speak first on behalf of the faculty, and then he's going to be followed by Jerome Newberry, who is the president of our Student Government Association. Ron?
Thank you, Dr. Godfrey. Happy New Year, and good evening, graduates, and good evening to your family and friends, and to the many others who are gathered here tonight to celebrate your graduation in the college's 10th annual and all too wintry-like winter commencement. Speaking for the faculty, we congratulate you for finishing your program of study to graduate with a certificate and/or degree, and we appreciate the time, energy, and perhaps even sacrifices that you have made to complete your various courses. We hope that those assignments and courses have proved to be difficult and challenging. For higher education, quoting Dale Krieger in the Johns Hopkins magazine, often makes you uncomfortable. It messes with all your received wisdom and everything you thought when you walked in the first day of classes. Well, you're welcome for those difficulties and challenges, and you don't need to thank us now. Indeed, a college degree should be more than just getting your ticket punched. It should be an intellectual and transforming experience that prepares you for a number of challenges. As you sit there tonight soaking up this graduation experience and engaging in some self-congratulations, you should also sneak some moments to contemplate about what more needs to be done. A couple of years ago, a film, The Bucket List, came to theaters based on the premise of 2 men, terminally ill, who composed a list of activities that they needed to complete before they died. This is not an attempt to turn the graduation ceremony morbid or suggest that any of you graduates are unwell. But in your healthy state, you might want to consider adding to or composing your own personal bucket list of activities you wish to complete in your lifetime. Graduating from CSM is certainly something that you could already begin to check off on your personal bucket list. But if we at CSM believe what we say about our institution, you should have come to realize your potential, or you should know more of your capabilities. And if we, the faculty, believe what we say in our faculty statement on values in the community college, you should have acquired various abilities, skills, and values to include in your arsenal for success. So, don't stop now. Add to that bucket list, and among other things, push and prod yourself to continue those efforts that initially brought you here. Commit yourself to completing a bachelor's degree and more, or going beyond your recently earned certificate. Don't fall under the spell of the gloomy news that is being reported to us on a daily basis. Despite what the current economic scene informs us, you should try to think of this as a time of opportunity. Consider, and this is not an attempt to turn this little speech political, but consider that we are just days away from a new presidential administration that, as many before it, offers the prospects of new hopes, directions, goals, and promising solutions. Take advantage of the potentially new environment to create a more ambitious bucket list. Realize your potential and apply that knowledge and those skills and values that you learned as part of your education here at CSM. So, graduates of 2009, good luck. We are pleased that you were here with us, and we are now depending upon you to do well. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jerome Newberry, and I'm the student government president. And it is my pleasure this evening, on behalf of the student body at the College of Southern Maryland, to congratulate our graduates for arriving at this point of earning an academic certificate or an associate's degree. Also, let me join you in acknowledging and thanking those who are sharing your celebration today. Your parents, spouses, family, and friends. They have provided the emotional, academic, and sometimes financial support to help you achieve this moment. The accomplishment that you celebrate this evening is one of true achievement. You have successfully balanced the multiple responsibilities of work, family, and community involvement with the demands of a challenging academic program. As a member of the current student body, I understand some of those challenges and can appreciate the hard work, patience, and commitment as necessary to become a successful graduate. It has been said, success is a journey, not a destination. As the president of the Student Government Association, and on behalf of the students at the College of Southern Maryland, I congratulate you on this achievement and wish continued success throughout your journey toward your future goals. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamie Raley, and it's my privilege to be chair of the Board of Trustees for the College of Southern Maryland. I'll be introducing our guest speaker tonight. I was just thinking 25 years or so ago when I sat where you are sitting now, the job of the board chair was to give people time enough to check their flash cubes, the number of tabs left in the pack, batteries, and locate the little tube that you smeared the stuff on the film. I see a lot of blank faces. You can use your Twitter and Google that, or you can just ask your grandparents. It is my honor to introduce this evening's commencement speaker, the first as we begin our next 50 years serving Southern Maryland. He's Rear Admiral Steve Eastberg, the Program Executive Officer for Air Anti-Submarine Assault and Special Mission Aircraft at the Naval Air Systems Command at Patuxent River. Each of you here tonight is a testament to the power of education, and Admiral Eastberg is no exception. A native of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Admiral Eastberg is a 1981 graduate of the United States Naval Academy, where he earned a Bachelor of Science degree in mechanical engineering. After graduating, he earned his Wings of Gold as a naval flight officer and was assigned to Air Anti-Submarine Squadron 38 in San Diego, with whom he deployed to the Western Pacific and Indian Oceans aboard the aircraft carriers Kitty Hawk and Ranger. Admiral Eastberg then went on to earn 2 master's degrees from the University of Southern California and the Naval Postgraduate School, as well as a diploma from the U.S. Navy's Test Pilot School. More than 10 years ago, Admiral Eastberg arrived at Patuxent River, NAS, to serve as the Chief Test Pilot and Commanding Officer of Air Test and Evaluation Squadron 20. From there, he went on to become the Program Manager for Maritime Surveillance Aircraft and the Commander of the Naval Air Warfare Center's Aircraft Division, where he also served as the NavAir Systems Command Assistant Commander for Research and Engineering. Admiral Eastberg's personal decorations include the Legion of Merit, Meritorious Service Medal, and a Marine Corps Commendation Medal. Last August, Admiral Eastberg signed an educational partnership agreement with the College of Southern Maryland to provide opportunities for students to explore science, technology, engineering, and mathematics careers through mentorships and programs with NAVAIR scientists and technicians. The goal of this partnership is to increase interest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields for students from grade 4 through college. Admiral Eastberg has also been instrumental in working with CSM, the University of Maryland College Park, and the Southern Maryland Higher Education Center to deliver the University of Maryland College Park's engineering program in Southern Maryland. CSM will offer the first 2 years of the program, and the University of Maryland will deliver the final 2 years in mechanical and aerospace engineering. This is truly a national model for how a military base facing significant shortages of engineers can take a leadership role in addressing its workforce needs. Clearly, by this example and many others, Admiral Eastberg's service to community is as important to him as his service to the country. Please give a round of applause and welcome Admiral Eastberg.
Thank you very much, Chairman Riley, for that very generous introduction, and it really is a tremendous privilege for me to have a chance to visit with you tonight and be part of this very special day for all of our graduates. I'd like to thank Dr. Gottfried for the invitation to be here this evening. The program that Chairman Riley just described is just one indication to me, and I think to many of you, of just how forward-leaning this organization is, the College of Southern Maryland. And I attribute that to the leadership of Dr. Gottfried and his trustees and all the supporters that were announced earlier this evening. This is a very unusual organization, CSM is. There are not too many community colleges in this country, I think, that would lean forward and strike up a partnership with a military organization and with an institution like University of Maryland, such as we've done here. But I think it portends some very, very bright days ahead for CSM, and more importantly, for the students of the Tri-County area, future students. I'd like to again welcome all of the distinguished attendees who have been mentioned earlier, and I'd also like to extend a special warm welcome to our graduates and the families of our graduates. For each individual who's sitting down here in this section of the graduates, there are multiple members in the stands here who helped these individuals get here, and I'm sure that each one of them would say the very same thing, that you were instrumental in enabling them to accomplish what they have and enable them to sit here in the cap and gown that they're wearing this evening. You know, over the 50-year history of CSM, this fine institution has graduated 16,000 folks of all ages and enabled them to reach educational goals. From the very modest beginnings of the school back in 1958, when they started meeting first in La Plata High School, not too far from here, through 20 years beyond that when they extended their reach into Calvert and St. Mary's County, all the way to today where this institution has blossomed into an institution of advanced education and high technology. This college has set a standard, I think, for all other community colleges in the United States. So Dr. Gottfried and your Board of Trustees, I congratulate all of you for the 50 years, half a century of educational achievement, your community service, and your dedication to the continuous personal and professional development of the students in this area. I do want to say one other word in a preliminary word, and that is to recognize again Cynthia Kirsch and Amanda Crane from the CSM Choir. As you know, the inspiration for the poem, which eventually became our national anthem, came from the observance of the Royal Navy's bombardment of Baltimore, just a few miles north of here during the War of 1812. Now, I work closely with some of our Royal Navy friends, and it's still hard for me to believe that they could do that to us. One of our closest allies now, and you can imagine this is the source of a lot of ribbing back and forth on a daily basis. But the events of that evening and of the morning that followed are a fitting reminder, I think, of the amazing history that surrounds us in this part of the country. The acclaimed writer David McCullough, whose works 1776 and John Adams have been renowned, wrote that history is a guide to navigation in perilous times. History is who we are and why we are the way we are. And so, once again, I'd like to ask you all to join me in thanking Cynthia and Amanda for reminding us who we are with the lyrics written by the poet and former Carroll County resident, Francis Scott Key. And to our graduates, our near graduates, welcome to another threshold of personal achievement in your lives. This is one of many that I'm sure that you'll face in the future. You deserve every accolade you're going to hear tonight, every pat on the back, every hug, and every high five. The associate degrees and the certificates that you all have earned and the experiences and personal growth that you have realized while acquiring these degrees will stand you in very, very good stead as you go out into the world seeking employment in the days ahead. As proof, all you need to do is look at the financial data. According to recent statistics, within the United States, the average high school graduate earns approximately $30,400 a year. Those with associate's degrees and certificates, on the other hand, earn $8,000 more than that. Now, if you consider those who go on to earn bachelor's degrees, you can add on another $14,000 on top of that. So from where you stand now, you will statistically earn over $500,000 more than high school graduates over the course of your lives. But more importantly, certainly, than the financial benefits and clearly more meaningful is the discipline of the education process. Aside from the spiritual, I personally believe that it's one of the most important sources of fulfillment that we can have in our lives. In fact, the relative rarity of events that you're experiencing right now as you sit out there makes these events all the more sweet. These profound moments where our hard work and our dreams intersect are really what help us to advance to that next level of personal and professional fulfillment in our lives. In the words of the 19th century writer Aldous Huxley, perhaps the most valuable result of all education is the ability to make yourself do the thing that you have to do when it ought to be done, whether you like it or not. So of all the lessons that we've learned, this may be the most significant. For, in fact, it's what kept you on that path to achievement that has landed you here this evening. It's what got you up in the morning to go to class. It's what enabled you to leave work after 8 or 10 hours and come to classes here at CSM. It's what kept you going at 2 o'clock in the morning studying for finals. And it's what got you here, and it's what will carry you forward into the future. I congratulate each one of you on your perseverance and for doing what needed to be done to achieve this definitive level of education success. Now, for some of you, tonight's commencement marks the end of your formal education. For others, it's just another beginning on the path to a 4-year degree that's not too far away. I think that you'd all agree, though, that your time here has given you the means to succeed. But it has not necessarily provided you with all the answers. Naturally, no one has all the answers. And what's really important to know, though, is where to find the answers and who to ask and how to seek out the counsel of those who come before you and to be flexible and resilient in the face of change. The tools that you've acquired here at CSM, developed not only here at CSM but throughout your life, they're the intangibles of your formal education. They're the stuff that you've picked up along the way, after class, talking to your professors, talking to your fellow students. You won't find them in a textbook. They won't appear on a pop quiz. They won't be buried deep inside an online learning center. It's the stuff that you've gained from the experience that you've been here of working with professional educators in 56 different courses of study, of relating to your classmates and your professors, and of learning how to operate outside the warm cocoon of an educational institution. This school has given you the means to move forward, and I sure hope that this sparks a measure of pride and gratitude in each one of your hearts this evening. I encourage you to keep the tools that you've acquired here at CSM sharp so that you can continue to recognize and capitalize on opportunities that you'll see here in the future. Race car champion Bobby Unser once said, "Success is where preparation and opportunity meet." And that's exactly where you are tonight. I would encourage you to remember, though, the teachers that have helped to get you here and to properly thank them for their contributions. There's not one person here, including myself, who hasn't been blessed at one time or another by a teacher that took us aside, who saw the potential, and who refused to give up. So I encourage you to take the time to thank them for their interest in you if you haven't had that chance in the future already. And I also encourage you to extend the legacy of their mentorship to you, to others, as you go forward. There's many examples of this that you see throughout our country. There's a few years ago, the students at Stanford University created a program called Habla, which the students there would teach English to the custodians that kept their classrooms and their dormitories clean. The fruits of their generosities have really started to emerge over the years and have resulted in improved communication and understanding, in mutual respect and appreciation, and ultimately in much stronger relations across the school. Out in the business world, many of you are familiar with it, some of you are not, but you'll find that it won't take long to become the old hand in the office or in the laboratory or in the cockpit. Before you know it, you'll have the opportunity to put on your teaching hat and to help somebody who's newer in the job than you are. As the English writer Aldous Huxley once wrote, "Experience is not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you." So make this surefire investment in others every chance you get. Share your education and experience. You'll become rich by enriching the lives of others. Now, before I conclude, I want to mention those who are at work and standing watch this dark and cold night here in some very dangerous places around the globe. These are the men and women of your Navy and Marine Corps. These are individuals who have unselfishly devoted their time, their talents, and their energy to preserve the precious liberties that we all enjoy as Americans. They are a critical warfighting arm of our global naval force, and they are the men and women of naval aviation. Now, if you turn right from here and go down about 45 minutes down the highway, you'll arrive at the Naval Air Station Patuxent River, and we're very fortunate to have our commanding officer, Captain Andy Masico, with us this evening. But Naval Air Station Patuxent River is a home of the Naval Air Systems Command, or NAVAIR. That's where I work, along with 30,000 other professionals, both those of us in uniform as well as civilians, government, and contractors. Many of them are scattered across the country in 8 different sites. Our job is to develop, to produce, and to support the highly capable and reliable aircraft and weapons systems that equip our nation's sailors and Marines to do their jobs and to ultimately achieve warfighting success. These sailors and Marines are our primary customers, and it's an important and noble mission that they serve and that we serve in. I can tell you they do a fantastic job. You know, once a month, the Navy Department puts out a list of things that's happened just in a 24-hour period, one day in the month, and just a thin veneer of the incredible work that the Navy and Marine Corps team is doing around the globe. This month, in January, they took that snapshot just this past Saturday. I want to read you just a few lines of things that were happening around the globe. There were 108 out of the Navy's 283 ships, 283 ships that were underway. That's about 38%, over a third of our Navy's fleet was underway. Carrier Strike Group 8, comprised of several ships, including the carrier, the Dwight D. Eisenhower, conducted a composite unit training exercise in preparation for an upcoming overseas deployment. The USS Boxer, a multi-purpose amphibious assault ship, which is manned by more than 3,000 sailors and Marines, was sailing towards the Western Pacific for an extended deployment. We had almost 8,700 Navy and Marine Corps personnel, as we call boots on the ground, in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other parts of the Middle East. We call them individual augmentees, but these are folks that we take out of aircraft squadrons, out of shore stations, off of ships, and put them down in the desert so they can work alongside the Marines and the Air Force and the Army, doing important tasks in support of the global war on terror. The USS San Antonio, which is an amphibious transport ship, became the flagship for Combined Task Force 151, which conducts counter-piracy operations in the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Sea, and the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. High-Speed Vessel 2 had just completed a 7-day port visit to Jamaica last Saturday, where its sailors had trained 65 members of the Jamaican Defense Force in waterborne and port security, small boat maintenance, and land navigation. Riverine Squadron 1 conducted a graduation ceremony in Iraq's Al-Anbar province for the Iraqi Army members that they had been training in riverine warfare. And finally, 2 frigates, the Samuel B. Roberts and the Rodney M. Davis, were underway conducting counter-narcotics operations. Since October, these 2 ships alone have seized over 25 metric tons of cocaine, which has an estimated street value of $501 million. So you see, these are just highlights of what the men and women of the Navy and Marine Corps team do for you and for me on a day-to-day basis. I encourage you to never forget them. They are out there for you, and they need to know that you think of them often. Don't underestimate the value that they put in your trust in them. I can tell you from personal experience that next to the love and the support that they receive from their families, your support is their single most source of inspiration. It's what drives them to accomplish their mission and to shoulder the awesome responsibility that they have of keeping our nation free. So I ask that you keep them going by keeping them in your hearts and in your prayers. So graduates of the College of Southern Maryland, I have every confidence that the lessons that you have learned here and the experiences that you have gained at this school will lead you towards a future that is very ripe with challenge and with opportunity. I wish you very sincerely every success in your personal and your professional lives as you go forward. And once again, I do thank you for the opportunity to share this very, very important point in your career with you and with your families. God bless you. God bless our courageous men and women of our armed forces, and God bless our country. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Sandra Genrich, Chair of the Health Sciences Division. Will Patty Hall please come forward? Patricia Hall is receiving the Achievement in Nursing Award. She was selected for this award by nursing faculty. Faculty comments indicate that Patty exhibits impressive leadership skills, loves to engage in patient teaching, is prepared and organized when entering patient care activities, prepares nursing care plans that reflect critical thinking. To cite a faculty member, Patty always goes the extra mile to provide quality patient care. Congratulations for receiving this award.
Good evening again. Thank you, graduates of 2009, for allowing the faculty the opportunity during your commencement to recognize the recipient of the Faculty Excellence Award honoring part-time faculty. The award process begins with the nomination of part-time faculty members who have demonstrated their teaching excellence. The nominees submit an application describing their various academic endeavors according to 5 criteria. Members of the Faculty Excellence Award Committee review each application and assign a numerical value to each of the 5 criteria. The nominee earning the highest cumulative score becomes the award recipient. This year's award goes to Rhonda Jacobs, she has been teaching microbiology, survey of anatomy, and zoology lecture and laboratory courses since the spring 2004 semester for the Biological and Physical Sciences Division. Among other things, Ms. Jacobs has developed various learning strategies to teach her students, actively employed technology as a pedagogical tool, served her department as a curator, responded to students of the future at the college's Kids College, and has been a student in the college's various IT courses. Professor Kathleen Lauber, a colleague, wrote, "Rhonda is an enthusiastic and hard worker, particularly in the area of technology in the classroom. She actively researches the new technology so her students will have the latest in technology to help grasp complex pieces of information. And I can hear it now in the halls of the biology building, in her classroom, the strains of that old Beach Boy tune, "Help me, Rhonda, help me, Rhonda." And she has done that. Our students are fortunate to have had her as a member of the faculty, and our faculty members are fortunate to have her as a colleague. So it is with great pleasure to announce Rhonda Jacobs as the recipient of the Faculty Excellence Award in Teaching, honoring part-time faculty. We do have a plaque for her, but unfortunately we weren't as prepared as the nurses were, so this will have to act as the award.
Well, have you studied your program? Because if you have, you will see that it identifies students who have earned distinction at the college by earning a grade point average of 3.5 or higher. There are 3 levels of honors that are indicated by letters following their names on the program. Also, you're probably wondering, what are those gold stoles that people are wearing around their neck? These are members of our Phi Theta Kappa, our National Honor Society, for 2-year colleges who have earned at least a 3.5 grade point average. We commend all of our students for their achievements, and we're all so proud of all of you. Well, this is what we're really all here for, the next part of the program, and that is the presentation of our degrees and certificates to our very, very special graduates. And for this, I call upon our Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs, Rob Farinelli, to come to the podium and to assist in this program.